Hi, this is our STEM project, the math behind political polling. We are team 11833E, that team. My name is Nico.
I'm Hannah.
I'm Sarah. For our project, we researched the math behind polling. We conducted our own poll to see whether peanut butter or jelly would win in our city. We interviewed Elizabeth Sena, a political pollster for the GQR, David Gold, a political consultant, and Dan Sena, a political official for the DCCC. We learned about sampling methods, the margins of sampling error, and used samples to see how they are weighted in a poll.
Ms. Sena told us that one of the first steps a pollster takes is to decide how to sample the population. If your sample is truly random and big enough, it will most accurately represent the group you're trying to poll. Most pollsters use a method called random digit dialing to call random phone numbers, which is a form of probability sampling. Another form of sampling is online polling, although pollsters don't prefer this method because you have to opt in to respond to the poll. We conducted our poll primarily with people from our school, so we recognize that it isn't truly random.
Even if a sample is chosen in a random way, it won't 100% reflect the population's view. Pollsters have to calculate the margin of sample error to determine by how many percentage points the poll results will differ from the views of the population. The larger a sample, the smaller the margin of sample error will be. Most pollsters try to get at least 1,000 responses for a population over 10,000, which has a 3% margin error. We were only able to poll 50 people for a population of 27,000, so our margin of error will be 13.8%.
Even if a sample is large enough and random, that sample may not exactly match the population. Pollsters like Ms. Sena fixed this by weighting the survey results. In our city, 56% of the population was white, but in our poll, 66% of the people were white. To make our poll results reflect the city population, we multiplied the responses from white people in our survey by an adjustment weight of 0.85, which is 56 divided by 66. We calculated an adjustment weight for each of our other races as well. While the math is straightforward, it can be hard for pollsters because the population they are trying to survey, they don't know because they don't know how many people will vote in the election.
To figure out how polls are used in the real world, we talked to two campaign experts. Dan Sena, who is the executive director of the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee in the most recent 2018 congressional election, and David Gold of Bouchard Gold Strategies, a political consultant. Both Mr. Sena and Mr. Gold said they used polls to see what part of the candidate's story works best with the voters. Mr. Sena also said that polls do not predict what will happen in the future and how the election will turn out. Instead, they show you a snapshot of how the voters are feeling at the time.
If the election were held today in Shaker Heights, jelly would win by 55.2% to peanut butter at 44.8%, with a 13.8% margin of sample error. Sorry, peanut butter supporters.
But this all goes way beyond kindergarten contests. In our project, we learned about how things work in the real world.
It is important for politicians and their supporters to know what people are thinking so they can shape their campaign.
That's it from that team. Remember to exercise your right to vote.